Hi everybody, welcome back to From Feed to You. Today we're going to be making this beautiful bangle bracelet made with chipped gemstone beads as well as round gemstone beads and copper wire. So if you'd like to see how I create this, continue watching. We're going to be using standard tools seen here as well as 18 gauge square and 22 gauge half round copper wire, and we're going to be using 6mm gemstone beads and chipped gemstone beads as well as these little metal beads here. Now we want to go ahead and measure and cut our wire for the base. Alright, we're going to measure, let's say, about 7 inches, and we're going to need 4 of them, so go ahead and cut 4 pieces. We're also going to be using 18 gauge round copper wire, and we're going to measure that to be about 4.5 inches, just one. We're going to be using 4 of everything except this wire here. You got the chipped gemstones and the round bent gemstones. This wire that we just cut here, what we're going to do now is grab our pliers and go ahead and make a loop at the top of one of the ends. Just go ahead and loop it around. Just make a single loop. Twist and twist. I use my hand generally. But this last piece right here, I'm going to flatten it with the pliers. After placing all the beads onto the wire, this is the pattern that we have here. After placing all the beads onto the wire, we're going to finish off the other end of the wire with the loop like we did from the beginning. So you have 2 closed loops. Next, you want to take all 4 wires lined up, and you want to get yourself a Sharpie, and you're going to mark your wire at 1 1/4 inch from the top. You want to do both sides, this side as well as the other side. Mark it at 1 1/4 inches. After you've marked each end of your bundle of wire, go ahead and make sure they're all aligned side by side. Grab yourself some painter's tape or whatever type of tape you have and tape both ends of the bundle of wires together. Just slide your hand all the way up to the other side, tape that side as well. Now you want to measure from point to point. It's easier to use centimeters, so that's what I measured. From point to point was about 4.5 inches, and we convert that to about 11.5 centimeters. So we're going to divide the 11.5 centimeters in 3s. So I'm going to round up to 4 centimeters each. So go ahead and mark off each section at 4 centimeters. Each of these sections that we're marking off is going to be where we're going to wrap our weave wire around. We're going to be using 22 gauge half round wire. Go ahead and cut about 4 inches times 3 and go ahead and start wrapping it around one of the points that we just made, one of the marks. And we're going to actually wrap it 5 times and cut, and repeat the process with the next mark 5 times. Wrap it. Don't worry about it sliding. We're going to press it down soon. All right. And wrap 5 times and go ahead and do the last one. Wrap it and cut. 5 times around. One thing I forgot to mention is to make sure that you're placing the flat side down on top of your wire. Keep them together. Now we're going to press them flat. Snip the excess wire off. Do the last one. Press. Flatten it. And this is what we should have. All 3 wrapped. Now we can go ahead and take off the tape from both ends. Now at your mark here on one end, you want to go ahead and take one of the wires and bend it backwards like that, and bend it over on top of the other wires like that. Then you want to go ahead and give it a twist around all of those wires, like so. Then you want to take your next wire, bend it backwards also, and give it a turn in the same direction that you bent the first wire. And then you want to go ahead and give it one complete turn, both wires all around like that. Okay. After you just bent those 2 wires, we're going to snip them, but we're going to bend this wire into a loop first. We're going to put this on there. Just slip it on right there. Now we're going to take our round nose pliers and form a loop while the piece is dangling on there. Form the loop, and we're going to trim the excess off the loop. Wrap the 2 wires around one more time. And then we're going to give them a snip. Just cut them off like that. And then we're going to flatten them. Just make them flat, so you won't have any sharp ends. And this is what you have left so far. Now you want to gently curve the entire wire, the entire length of the wire. Just make curves. Curve, curve, kind of like forming the bracelet shape. Measure about 1.5 inches on the other end. Your single wires, just take one, bend it to the side like you did the other side, and then take the other wire beside it, do the same, and wrap it around once. You can use your pliers to help you turn it and hold it still. Alright, now you want to grab your round nose, go ahead and make that loop, half loop around. We're going to be forming a clasp, okay? So just let me shape it up a little bit. Yeah, this is my first time doing this with square wire, so feels kind of awkward. So basically this is the shape that I'm going for with a little maneuvering, I will get there. So I ended up trimming this wire a little bit, and I curved the loop like that. But I found out that the 18 gauge wire is thicker than I expected, so I'm going to have to trim one of these wires to make it fit into the loop. This being my first time using the square wire for this bracelet, it was kind of difficult for me to gauge, or I didn't gauge ahead of time. Oh well, but I just snipped that one, and now this should be able to fit into that loop on the other end of the bracelet. And now I just got to shape it a bit more. As I said before, I didn't plan ahead. A lot of times I just wing it when I'm creating videos, and this is a learning experience for me. So it looks like it's coming out all right, and it should be able to fit onto there now. Yes, and it does. So I'll just finish up a little bit, go ahead and flatten those wires out and reshape the bracelet. We should be good to go. So now I'm going to go ahead and form the round shape of the bracelet. You can invest in the bracelet mandrel or some other type of round device, but I like to use what I have on hand, and I'm using this spool, and it seems to be working just fine. Go ahead and adjust the bracelet. Just wrap it around there until you get that round shape. And there we go. Connect it there. Looks good. I'm happy with that. Of course, you can, shape it to your liking, but basically, this is it. We're all done. So here you have it, our finished bracelet. Overall, I think it came out quite nicely. With a few minor adjustments of your own, I'm sure you could duplicate this, and I welcome your feedback. So thank you for joining me. I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.